Hello everybody, this is Pedro, and in today's video I would like to talk about something that I've alluded to many times in the past in this channel, which has to do with focus, more specifically the lack of focus. And it's something that I see more lately for whatever reason, more people falling into this sort of trap that I'll try to exactly explain what it is. And that's perhaps the reason of why they're not achieving what they want to achieve, meaning career growth, meaning supervision roles, more security, better salaries, all that kind of stuff, right? And before we dive into this, I just wanted to, you know, first mention that I'm fully aware, of course, that local markets, certain local markets, perhaps operate in a different way. I'm fully aware of that. Okay, I've worked with people like that, but it's undeniable that the global industry works with specialists, not with generalists, and that's just a given. That's why there's job posts for compositors in the same way there's job posts for just lighters or FX guys or whatever, right? So that's just the way the industry works. And what I've seen lately, especially taking into account like how technology is available these days to so many other people, and also with the upcoming of AI and all kind of stuff, I see a lot of people basically detracting their attention for multiple, adjacent areas, and basically stretching themselves too thin. And perhaps that's exactly the reason of why they're not growing or getting the results that they're trying to get, right? And so I'm going to illustrate here some of these problems in a more visual way, right? So here we have these different disciplines and adjacent areas, right? So different disciplines, of course, we're talking about comp, which is super related to with what this channel is all about. Then other things like lighting, effects, just these are just examples, by the way. And then we have adjacent things like Unreal or AI tool number one, AI tool number two, AI tool number three, and so forth. Because, of course, these days I could fill the entire wall with different AI tools because, of course, there's no shortage of that. And that's also part of the problem, or problem in terms of like the things that I want to talk about. And here we have something that we can all agree with, which is we have limited energy units available to us as human beings, right? And this is not only energy as a human being, per se, but also time in the day, right? The day has only 24 hours. No matter how much you want to work with, you cannot work more than 24 hours a day. And hopefully you're not one of these people that work 24 hours a day, right? But we have limited units of energy. That's just the way it goes, right? So let's analyze two types of scenarios, right? So let's analyze the type of scenario that I'm seeing more and more these days, which is, they say that we're talking about the compositor, right? So the discipline for this person, he or she, doesn't matter, it's compositing. And what I see is they put the effort, okay? Let's say that there's two different scenarios. So I'm going to put like 5 units of energy for person A, 5 units of energy for person B, which is green and red, respectively, in this example. So what I see is people, although their discipline is comp, they are applying like 2 units of energy. Okay, so those 2 units of energy get applied here, and then these other 3 are spread across, for whatever reason. I'm seeing this a lot lately. They want to learn Houdini. Okay, so 1 unit there. Then they want to try Unreal. Cool, 1 unit there. And then they are trying this AI tool that perhaps is not even, which is the majority of them, that it's not even possible to work with this AI tool within the visual effects pipeline. Okay, for many different reasons. It doesn't matter right now to dive into that kind of stuff. So all the units of energy that are limited are spread across all these different things. So although the focus should be comp, because that's the discipline of this person, the effort is spread out across different areas. I don't know what the reason is. I think it's the reason, well, each person might have different reasons, but it's because, they're having fun, and that's totally fine. But this definitely is a certain type of profile that perhaps is not giving the results that they are trying to achieve. Now, let's look at the different scenario, okay? Let's look at a person, which is the red one, same units of energy, but this person has a completely different strategy. This person applies like the majority, if not all of the effort into the discipline, so 4 units of energy, okay? And then there's one left that perhaps they want to explore something regarding Unreal, let's say, okay? So person A and person B, very different profiles. And I've hired hundreds of people in my day, and I've interviewed whatever the number was, let's say 150, I'm not sure from top of my head, although I have the number, but I don't know, I'm not sure from top of my head how many I've hired, but I've interviewed like 2 or 3 times more that number, right? And one thing that I was always focusing on regarding the role that I was looking for to hire was focus. And so the profile, the green profile, would give me a certain profile that perhaps was not the one that I was, definitely not the one that I was looking for, because I'm looking for a specialist within comp. And so this is the most important thing for me. Focus on that discipline. Okay? So if we have these two profiles, one that has comp like up to this level and the other one has comp up until this level, of course, the focus and the knowledge that this person will have regarding comp, which is the discipline that he or she chose, is going to be way bigger on this one. More chances that this person will have a better chances of achieving other things for their life, as opposed to someone that is just putting, the effort in different areas. Okay? Nothing wrong if you want to do that just for the sake of it, but know that you have limited units of energy that you need to spend and to choose wisely, because that's just the way life goes, because you cannot, make up more than 24 hours a day, okay? Just as an example. And so, although this happens and you might feel, and this might be the reason of why some people choose to do the green path, that you might feel that if you are looking for a new job, you are more valuable as a professional if you know more things. That's just not the way the industry works. The industry works with specialists, once again. It doesn't work with generalists, okay? So if you want to be a guy that has better chances to be hired, or to be hired for the right role at the right salary, okay, you need to be a specialist on one of these areas, not spreading yourself thin across different things, because that doesn't give me, as again, taking into account my example, that's not giving me the assurance that this person is going to respond in the way that I need that person to respond as, okay? And so what happens is also, and I've seen this in many people's profile, is, they have role 1, 2, and 3 not related with one another. And so this gives me, like, if this one points here, this other one points there, and this other one points there, this doesn't give me the clarity or the assurance that this person has the clarity, rather, to be focused on the area that I need him or her to be focused on. And it's not about how many things you know, spreading your across here and your knowledge, across different areas, but being what we normally call a jack of all trades, master of none. That's not what's going to put you in a better position to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Quite the opposite. It's actually going to have the inverse effect, to be honest with you. So what happens is, most people want to achieve the ultimate goal, which is a supervision role. Okay, whatever supervision, can be VFX supervision, can be one of these department supervision. Let's say that in comp could be comp supervision. Okay, that's how you want to get there. So the more you focus on that area, the more you're going to climb to get to that position. If you spread across too thin across different disciplines, you're not going to grow vertically. So you achieve those roles growing vertically and not horizontally, as I'm saying here. Okay? However, you need to develop yourself as a professional, no doubt about it. But that's not the way to go, because of the reasons that I just mentioned before. Okay? And so you definitely want to grow, but you want to grow with tangible and transferable skills that will put you closer to the goal that you have. Unless you don't have any goal, which I'm sure that's not the case, if you want to grow into this kind of position, you need to grow in tangible ways, not only with the discipline that should be congruent with the discipline, but with also, adjacent, related, however, adjacent skills, transferable skills that will put you more close to the goal. Okay? And so I'm going to give you like a different illustration here. So let's say that this is professional A, and this other one is professional B. Okay? So professional being is basically spreading across different disciplines and gaining knowledge and gaining certain skills, but very sparse, very few. Yes, in comparison, the green one knows about effects that the red one doesn't know. It doesn't matter, but that's basically what happens. He knows a little bit about Unreal. He knows a little bit about AI tool number two, whatever that might be, but red is really focused mainly on the discipline. Okay, so what happens on person B is that they're developing skills that are not congruent with the discipline that they chose. So they're gonna develop a skill in which they're gonna grow. Like this is just like a different shape, like a shape like this, which is a representation of one of these skills. Then this other person goes and choose like a different kind of thing to learn. So he's gonna develop this thing, and then this other thing here represents like a star, for example. So this is the shape that they're gonna grow as. However, this person, if they want to, the red person, the red profile, if they want to develop their skill, okay, with additional skills, should be additional skills that put him or her close to the goal, that needs to be skills that are adjacent but related not only with the role itself, but also with a bigger overview and a bigger game that are basically transferable skills that are related not only with the discipline itself, but also with this discipline. Okay, so instead of growing like this, which is a piece that doesn't, a profile that doesn't fit like in the industry, right? Because you cannot fit this piece anywhere, right? Because you don't even know what the centerpiece is. If you think about it, you don't even know, looking at this, you don't even know what the centerpiece is. This person, however, is going to grow their skill. Okay, so he's going to grow their skill like this, more and more and more, and then he's going to develop other skills that are congruent, although a little bit different, but congruent with their discipline, and also other skills that are directly related with a bigger game that will put him or her close to the goal. Okay, so they're going to grow congruently in this way. So this is a piece that is well defined as opposed to this other piece. It's just like a mix of different things, right? So these type of, uh, skills are things like, for example, Python, okay, or management, or soft skills, or strategy. So these are skills that, although might not be super or 100% related with the discipline, are complementary to the discipline, for example, Python. And these other ones are basically bigger game. There are transferable skills that will make them more valuable as a professional within this discipline and will put him or her way closer to this role, which is all about management, for example. Is all about communication, which is where soft skills will go. It's more about strategy, So this is a profile that doesn't fit much, like it doesn't fit anywhere, just by looking at the shape of it as a representation, of course. This shape is really way more defined, and it grows congruently with the discipline itself to start off, and then it grows outside or has a bigger vision more than just the discipline, although it starts from there, to be developing other skills that are congruent with the goal, which is this. So you grow vertically in order for you to achieve the result. So what you need to do is to grow vertically and not horizontally. Horizontally doesn't work. So this should be avoided, because this is just like spreading yourself too thin. It's not even congruent with how the work, or the world of visual effects in this case, works. So you grow like this and not like this. Okay. Another way to illustrate this is, for example, if this doesn't make sense to you or you are having trouble understanding this, the example that I'm going to give you, I think, is going to make things really clear. I normally say this to the people that we work with, right? Which is, you should look at yourself as a high performance athlete, like a professional athlete. And if you look at any professional athlete, the way that they win and they have at least better chances to win a gold medal, for example, in the Olympics, it's to basically focusing only on the sport that they chose. Okay, let's say a swimmer or a runner. They're not fucking around with other sports. They're not playing basketball. They're not um, doing, I don't know, other things. You know, if a swimmer is not running, a runner is not swimming. You know what I mean? So everything that they do day in and day out, all the trainings, all the food, like meaning the nutrition, all the even the psychological support, all that kind of stuff is congruent, super congruent with the discipline that they chose to basically become athletes, right? And the same happens with any profession. The same happens with you. If this professional, if this athlete would say, today I will go and do a little bit of swimming, tomorrow I'm going to run, then next day I'm going to do something else, they have way less chances of being like a champion at that sport because they're not specialists on anything. They're just doing a little bit of everything. That's just not the way it works. You know what I mean? Even those disciplines, speaking of sports, even though those disciplines that have multiple disciplines, for example, triathlon or something like that, even that is congruent within a specific defined number of disciplines, and that conjunction is in itself a discipline as well, right? So in a professional athlete kind of scenario, all the things that they do day in and day out, the number of days that they train, what they eat, what is the psychological support that they have, what kind of training they do at the gym as opposed to just the practice itself. Everything is related with the sport that they chose, and the same happens in here. So it's very easy to understand, I think, the sports analogy. So there's no difference when you choose your discipline. If you want to go be like the guy that's going to be known like to be like a compositor and have way better chances to reach a compositing supervision role or even a VFX supervision role, you are way better served to develop that skill alone, to be in that road, okay? Because what it takes is you have your road, okay, which is the compositing role in this example, and then you have other roads that will appear, at different stages. Will appear, this one continues, but there will be like other things. A lot of people do a little bit of this. So what happens after they take this turn is going to result in perhaps a completely different life as opposed as if they would continue in the same road. Okay? There's a road defined for you to get from the discipline that you chose until the goals that you want to achieve. That means, as I said before in the beginning of this video, better salaries, have a seat at the table for important discussions, be that key person within that discipline for that specific or within a specific company that you're working for at the given moment. And all that kind of stuff only comes from the focus that you have within the things that you are developing. This stuff, like spreading yourself across different disciplines, as enticing as it can be, or is that as cool as it can be, like learning new things, it's basically detracting from the road that you should be in, which is the road of a certain discipline, because that's just the way the industry works. Okay, so this is the type of stuff that I wanted to talk to you today, guys, in a little bit different way with the board, because I think it makes things a little bit more apparent. Let me know if you'd like to have more videos like this. I will certainly, it's my intention to do a few more, but if you like this type of videos, just let me know. If you have any other questions or certain things that you'd like to me to talk about and make a video for, just let me know in the comments. But I hope you got this right in terms of like the mental model, because that's really what it takes, and if you need help with getting the focus, learning the actionable skills that you really want and need to learn, let me know in the comments below. There in the comments and in the description below, there's a video and a link there. You can click the video, you can click the link, there's a video there for you to check it out, and then you can join the waiting list for the next level program, because the program, it's exactly like all the skills that you need to learn in order for you to get to this position. And we have had many instances in which people attain this because of this focus. Okay, so the program is done in a way that is super focused on the tangible skills and real skills that you need to develop in order for you to get there. And this is just like a mental model that I wanted to share with you, apart from, of course, what we talk about with the people that we work with anyway. Okay, so I hope you liked it, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye bye.